The most authentic podcast of the year. Join us on this emotional roller coaster as we relive the past and look ahead to the future. The Abed 11 Chronicles, 10 voices, 1 podcast, and a lifetime of stories.
Welcome back to episode 3 of the Abed 11 Chronicles. How's everybody doing today?
Great.
So we got a special guest with us today. So when we talk about all the voices and the lifetime of stories, it really has to start with our parents and their story, because we won't have a story if it wasn't for their story. So today, all the way from Spotsylvania, Virginia, via Palestine, is with us Najeh, a.ka Jimmy. So can you guys welcome Pops with us today?
Hey, Pops.
Welcome, Pops.
Hi, Dad.
You want to say hi to everybody, Pops?
Hi, everybody.
So this is everybody. This is not just your kids. You're saying hi to a lot of different people. So
Everybody.
So today, we really want to just get your backstory a little bit about how you came to the United States, how you ended up in good old Spotsylvania, Virginia, owning a grocery store for 25 years. And obviously, a little feedback about you had 11 kids. So, I mean, that's a big, you know.
Oh, boy.
Do you remember you had 11 kids?
11 kids.
Yeah, 11. You don't know any other kids, right?
No, thank you.
No.
That's enough.
Just enough. But
That's enough. 11 kids. Allah khalihim.
can you tell us what year did you come to the United States?
In 1960.
60. Okay.
And the first 2 years I have a baby boy. His name,
You remember his name? Your baby boy?
huh?
Your baby boy. What was his name?
Oh, Najeh.
Yeah. And so, but that was in the first 2 years you guys had a kid?
Yeah, first 2 years we was in the United States. I came to the United States by myself, and after 1 year, I decided to bring my wife to me because she was living with her mom. And after that, we live in Washington, D.C. in a small house. I work. I wasn't making any money, but God help us, and we live. Alhamdulillah.
So what was your first job when you came to the United States?
I was working at dishwasher for a restaurant in Connecticut Avenue. They call it Connecticut Avenue in Washington. They was paying me $45 a month. I mean, a week.
A week?
Yeah, $45 a week. That's good money at that time.
Yeah. And then, so you were dishwashing off of Connecticut Avenue, and then you stayed in D.C. for a little while. And then what happened after you stayed
After
in D.C.?
D.C., I moved to Virginia, to Arlington. I went to, I forget sometime these years.
Yeah, it's a long time ago. I mean, you think about it,
Yeah.
the 1960s.
I live in Washington for a while, and then my late brother was in the army in Vietnam for 3 years. In 1963, he came home. Went to Massachusetts, Boston.
Yeah.
He asked me if I can move there. I took my family, I moved there, and I work in Boston University as custodian. and I was working in another restaurant next to the college of there. Belonged to Arabian people. Besides that, I have your mom have pregnant and they have a baby. His name Faisal.
Yep. Number 2.
Number 2, Faisal. And then, Alhamdulillah, everything went fine. And I have another baby.
And then that was number 3, Jamal. So when you were in Boston, how many years did you live in Boston before you moved back to the DC area?
Well, I feel like I can't remember exactly, but I did. I decided to go back to Virginia, where I came in. I was living. Don't forget, I left my 2 boys, Faisal and Jamal, overseas with
City Amni.
Salha,
Yeah.
Al-Hajj Amni. How we are, I brought him back anyway, and we live in Arlington, Virginia.
Yeah, that must have been rough. When Faisal and Jamal, when they went to live overseas, and I know a lot of things happened over there, and Faisal's going to share that story with us one day. But at one point, you didn't even know where they were because of the war, and they were in refugee camp. How did that make you feel?
When the '67 war, Al-Hajj Amni, Allah yarhamha, took the 2 boys and she crossed to the other side of the river. And after the thing quiet down, she came back with the boys. I started looking for them. I don't know where they are, and I have a news that they already came back to to Elvira.
Yeah. How long did you not know where they were? Like, was it months, years? Like, how long?
No, about two weeks.
2 weeks.
2, 3 weeks.
You didn't know what happened.
I don't know what happened to
Yeah.
them.
I remember one time you told me a story about when you were in Boston, living in Boston, and our mom came and flew into Boston, and she didn't know where you lived.
Well, she didn't tell me that she came back. I'm renting a room in a building, but she know where. She have the address or something like that. She came in. She didn't tell me she coming. And she got to the house. She brought the car and came to the house. I went home. She's in the house. That was make it bad for me and her. We have the bathroom. Everybody can use the bathroom.
It was a shared bathroom?
Shared bathroom.
Like in the apartment, it was a shared bathroom?
Yeah,
You didn't have your own bathroom?
And now I have no in the bathroom. I didn't know, that my wife is coming. That's bad days that day. Anyway, I started working in Boston University up there when I was working there. And we decided to come back to Virginia.
Yeah. But your experience, and before we get back to Virginia, your experience at Boston was pretty good, though. You lived okay in Boston. It was just expensive, but there was a lot.
No, it was good. My late brother Fauzi, he was living. He bought a house. He was still living there. He kept me company. Well, my father came in from overseas to Boston.
Yeah.
He started working there in a restaurant as a dishwasher. And then my late brother, he decided to come back to Virginia. He took my father with him. I stay in a room by myself. At the time, you know,
Let's ask him about Wally's birth. Wally was born in Boston too.
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah, so Najib said that when Wally was born, was he born in Boston?
Wally born in Boston. And believe me, I went for a car, 1964 Ford. You know, I paid for that car $2,500 cash,
Brand new?
brand new. I said, "No, my lad." Then I told my wife after I bought the car, I want to drive back to Virginia.
Virginia. And who'd you have in the car when you were driving back? 'Cause I know
I put the, I let her my Wally. What did he cried most of the road coming home, coming to Virginia. Allah يرحم الأموات him.
so when you came back to Virginia, so you were the first one from your family to come to the United States?
For my family,
Yeah.
I'm the first one to come. The reason we came to the United States, we married my wife. She's an American-born citizen.
Yeah.
Her father was in the United States Army and in World War I, and she had her mom. She had certificates. She was getting her salary from the army.
Yeah. So our mom's dad was in the he came to the United States and he was in World War I. And so when you met our mom, she was already an American citizen.
Yes. Yes.
So did you marry her because she was an American citizen, or was it love at first sight?
No, you know, my father, Allah yarhamah, my mom, Allah yarhamah, he came to me and she said, you know, I was just 19 years old. He came in and said, listen, if you get married, you go to the United States, you'll be take care of us.
Yeah.
I said, yeah. I said, married. I'm 19. What's married? Finally, my mom talked to me and explained to me the whole story. I said, okay. They took me to your mother house.
Yeah.
I look at the her mom agree, you know.
Yeah.
I said, how should we agree?
So kind of like a little backstory, you know, back in the day when people got married, there were more arranged marriages. So your parents told you about our mom, and then you went and visited her.
They talk about that Salha, Al-Hajj Amne. She related to my mom somewhere, somehow. How we are, I agree. My father, poor guy, you know, they decide how much, what, you know, how people over there. Anyway, everything went to go okay. And then I got married.
Yeah. So when you married our mom, what year was that? You remember?
In 59.
59. And then you so she had American citizen. When you got married, made you American citizen.
Yeah, after I married, I got her paperwork. I went to the American consulate in Jerusalem. I filed papers, and I think I paid that time almost $10 American money for the
paperwork
and stuff like that. And they Told me, go home. Don't worry about it. A week later, I got the visa.
Yeah. And then how long after you got married and got your visa did you come to the United States?
I think not even, I can't remember. I even maybe 6 months
6 months.
altogether.
Did you come, one of the reasons they wanted you to come to the United States is for a better life?
It's not about a life. I have my family. None of my family have a way to come to the United States. I'm the only one who came to the United States. First, I did bring all my sisters. I bring all my brothers back to the United States. I bring my father, my mother, the rest of my family.
So
Because of me, I nobody give me nothing.
yeah.
I did favor for everybody. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen.
Yeah. So you're the reason a lot of people really made it to the United States, and now since 1960, you really set your roots in the United States, and mostly in Virginia is where you've lived most of your time.
Yes, most of Virginia, Arlington, Fort Church,
Perfect.
and Fairfax, and
Yeah, and then what was your first business? Like, you worked at the dishwasher and you worked as a janitor, and you did a lot of odd end jobs to make it. But when did you open up your first business? Like, what was the name of your first business you opened?
First business, I can't remember. I know I bought a restaurant.
Yeah, is it the Bannister? Was that the first one?
I read that. It was by Union Station. Just remind him Union Station. It was
Union Station.
Huh?
Union Station.
Station.
Union Station.
Union Station.
Yeah. So Jim says, when he was a kid, he remembers being in Union Station and bringing in the food from the outside in, because they used to have like a exit and went to the basement, and that's how you guys used to bring the stuff in.
I can't remember that. I can't remember that.
Do you remember Tremont?
Tremont. That's the first restaurant I bought. I bought it I think $35,000
for Tremont.
Tremont restaurant. I stayed there 20 years. I saved a little money, and I started looking for bigger business.
Yeah.
And I decided, I read something about the grocery store.
Yeah, grocery store. So which is Baker's Market, which in Spotsylvania. So that's how you ended up in Spotsylvania. You had a brother, Ahmed, God rest his soul, lived in Culpeper, and so he helped you find that grocery store. And
no, I found it. I found it in, somehow, somewhere. I don't know how I found the grocery store. I drove there. I remember came around 95, and I took the exit. I asked 2 different people how I get to the place.
Yeah.
And then finally I found it. I talked to the owner, and I gave him the offer. He accepted.
So the owner at the time, his name was Mr. Baker, and that's why it was called
Baker. Yeah,
that's why it's called Baker's Market.
Baker's Market. I kept the name the same, Baker's Market.
Yeah, you kept it for the name.
I stayed there 21 years. 21 years, and I raised all my boys. They helped me out in the market. Jamal, Faisal. They in and out. They went to school around there.
Yeah.
You can remember.
I remember. So let me ask you just a question, and then we could open it up to questions as well. When you rode to Spotsylvania, and you took those country roads all the way out to the store in the middle of the country where there's nothing else around us for 20 miles. What made you think, like, this is a store for me and I'm going to move my kids to the middle of the country?
Well, I tell you the truth, I have the store. I know I depend on my boy to help me out. And then when I moved in there, I live in a house, neighbor house.
Yeah, in the basement.
And then I started looking for a house. I read the house where I live now is a house. They want $75,000.
Yes.
I then started looking for company where they can give me the money.
Yeah, loan company.
I have $20,000 saved, and they gave me $50,000. I pay off, and I started making payments to the
mortgage company
in Orange, Virginia.
Yeah.
Well, alhamdulillah, forget about the store. Well, I can't remember exactly. I pay William Baker, I pay him down payment, and I start paying him $2,000 every month.
Yeah, I remember he used to come to the store every month.
Every single month he come
and pick up his rent.
pick up his check.
Yeah, but the nice thing is when you bought that store, you bought the whole store, not just the business. You had bought the property.
I bought the store, the land, everything.
With it.
Everything.
Yeah, and when you first came, you lived in was it Mrs. Parker's basement?
Mr. Parker.
Yeah.
In the basement.
And you had Faisal and Jamal with you.
Yeah.
So they were your first two workers in the store.
First two workers. I wish I have these days. I was, I was young. I didn't care.
You're still young. How old are you now?
Did I ask you how old I am?
Yeah. So Jamal and Faisal, you guys remember when you first moved to the store and living in Miss Parker's house?
Yeah, it was in.
Yeah, we lived in the basement. Yeah, 1981.
Yeah,
we lived in the basement.
It's right above the store. We could walk to it. It wasn't that far.
The brick house. Yeah, it's not too far from the store. You guys can walk. And what grade were you guys in when Pops brought you guys to Spotsylvania?
I was in 9th grade.
I was in 10th grade. Yeah, I was in 10th grade.
Man,
so my mom and the rest of the kids stayed in Fairfax?
Yeah, I took care of them.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Jim. Thanks. We owe you, man. We owe you. We'll get to the stories later. How you took care of us. So how was it first? Like, because you guys came with just you three and moved in that basement for a good amount of time. Because I remember as a kid, always wanted to come and come up here. How was it at that time? I mean, how was that transition?
Well, it was different. Faisal first. Let's start with Faisal, then we can talk to Jamal about it. How about that? Faisal, how was it?
Yeah, it was like a culture shock to start with because you're used to living in the city, and then you come out to the country, and it's completely different. And there's everybody is like different, and you kind of get used to the way you're living and your and the different lifestyles and the country setting and working in the store and stuff like that. It was different. Schools were different too. The schools were I want to say like Spotsylvania schools were behind the Fairfax schools in teaching because some of the stuff that we were learning when we went to school. It wasn't. We had already learned it in Fairfax.
Yeah, back in so what year was that? 1980,
81.
81. And how about you, Jamal? What was different for you moving here? How's that transition?
You know, it was different people. You know, like Faisal was saying, coming from the city to the country, you have mixture of people there. You know, at the store wise, you know, people seeing that as us being Palestinians, people coming into the store, they didn't realize, you know, now you got a foreign person that took over the store, so we're treated a little different, you know. So, but we ran the store real good, and everybody liked us there, you know. And our culture was a little different, you know, than anybody else. You know, we were nice. I know Mr. William Baker was nice to the people, but you know, we're a little bit nicer. You know, we're like thankful that customers came into the store. You know, um, so. But
Yeah,
growing up,
you got to know all
going
your
into the
customers.
store, we would work. Right,
Can
you
I
got
just
to know
add
all the
one
customers,
thing?
but we would
My
work.
dad did.
You know, filling the
Yeah,
coolers.
Yeah.
My dad did give a lot of people a line of credit because they only got paid once a month, and I think, you know, he gave them a line of credit. That's the thing that helped, you know, where he trusted the his customers. I just wanted to say that just because we're in this part there.
Yeah, no, he did.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead, Chad. I'm sorry.
I was gonna say, I actually remember that credit book that people would come in and we'd write down their names and how much they owe us, and then at the end of the week,
Yeah,
like, I remember that book.
Yeah. So, Pops, do you remember they were talking about the credit book, and people instead of credit cards, they used to have a book and used to put their name down, how much they bought for the day, and at the end of the week, they used to bring you the check and you used to cash them out. You remember that?
Yeah, they used to work in a factory down the store.
Yeah.
And they went by stuff by credit, and they pay me at the end of the week.
Yeah. Hey, nobody would do that no more, would they?
No. You can't trust everybody, you know.
Yeah, but then you trusted everybody that came in that store. If they needed it, you helped them out.
Yeah. Well, I helped a lot of people.
When you're
a lot of people, yeah.
So we moved. So we moved during the summertime there. I think it was maybe in March or April, near coming the summertime. So, you know, we didn't go to school at the time when we went. So we didn't know what the situation was. But when school started, we used to catch the bus. We used to catch the bus at the store. So we used to go from the house, or we used to come from the basement and then walk to the store and then catch the bus there in the morning. And our father used to open up the store about like 6:30 in the morning every morning. He used to be down there like 6:30 in the morning, making the coffee, getting it ready, you know. And me and Faisal used to catch the bus, or Faisal drove, or I used to walk to school sometimes. And it was a long way. I used to catch a ride, walking to school because I missed the bus sometimes, you know. So
yeah, you know, the funny part is kind of because we're talking about the store and Baker's. You know, we were at the hospital yesterday visiting Sophie, who's still not feeling well, but he's getting better. And another gentleman was at the hospital visiting his mom, and he says his best memories was coming to Baker's Market, especially during hunting season, and getting the sandwiches in the morning time before they went hunting. So you used to always make sandwiches and
I used to make sandwiches because the hunter comes and they want something to eat. I used to make like bacon, ham,
the country ham,
stuff like that. They used to come. I make like 10, 15 sandwiches. They come, stop by, they buy a drink, and how we, you know, was a good. I stay in the, you know, in Baker's store. I stay with almost 20 some years.
Over 20 years, yeah.
Some 20 years standing on it.
Standing on your feet, and then you ended up kind of the story is you renting a basement till you found a place. You found the house on Lawyers Road on 26 acres. You paid $75,000 for that house at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was nice size house on 2-car garage, another building in the back for $75,000. I mean,
that's good investment I did. But remember, you work hard. You work hard to make the money. I got a little story. When my sister came in, they asked me that my sister Kimere that getting married in Florida. They want to convince me to go to that wedding. That's the biggest mistake I did in my life. My wife was pregnant with Chad.
The golden child. The golden. Look at that smile when you said her name. The golden child.
Chad. I didn't know as soon as I leave. Next day, your mom, she went to Faisal took her to the hospital, I think.
Yeah. So you left.
They called me. They said she already have. She knows she gonna have a baby girl.
Yeah.
That's after all the boys. I was very happy to have a girl.
Yeah, but you already had one girl before that.
Yeah, I have one girl before that, but you have I have the 9 boys.
Yeah, 9 boys, and so you were excited to have a second girl.
More first girl, she gave me a hard time. Almost she gave me.
Why she give you a hard time?
Your mom called me. I was in 3-month restaurant.
Yeah.
Your mom called me up. She said she's in labor. I said I have to go all the way to Fairfax, pick up your mom, take her all the way to Washington Hospital. By the time we got to the hospital, something went wrong, and they have a problem to deliver a baby. And they said she have a problem. I don't know if she can make it or not. I went to her. I look at her. She's laying down, there, little baby. The doctor came in. I said, "Doctor, how she look?" He said, "No, let me tell you one thing. If she born on tonight, she be good. But something goes wrong tonight, we're going to lose her." I could not sleep that night. That's my first baby, a girl.
Yeah.
I went early in the morning. I drove to the hospital. I went there. Alhamdulillah, Rabbil Alameen, she was laying.
See, I made it.
Can I just interrupt just 1 second? She actually was breech and a blue baby. The umbilical cord had wrapped around her neck, and she was breech. So she came in feet first instead of head first. And that was the problem, because I went with my dad to the hospital and at the time, and I remember the doctors telling us that she was a breech baby, and that they also called her a blue baby because she was blue because she didn't have oxygen, to her. So her face and everything turned blue. So anyway, I just wanted to add that point. Huh?
You went to the hospital. They thought you were the daddy, didn't they?
No. That was for Sophie. Sure? That was for Sophie. I went with my dad to visit Melissa.
Yeah. So Melissa. So technically, you should be the golden child because you're the firstborn.
I should be. Right.
Yeah, share the story.
Back to Shad.
Share the story.
Always back to Shad.
I came from the.
Forget Melissa.
I went to the airport. I told him I'm going to go back, and they said, no more room in the airplane. You have to wait until tomorrow. I explained to the guy who's just fine. I said, my wife just had a baby, and I have to. He said, "I'm sorry. I have to be tomorrow." I'll wait until tomorrow. I was sleeping in Abu Jad's house.
Yeah.
Anta Kimera. Well, next day I went there. The mom home. She said she was asking me how come I went to Florida, and I said I didn't know you're going to have a baby as soon as I leave. You know.
Yeah, I mean, what was her due date? Like, her due date was a little while out, or
I think the due date wasn't the same day she gonna have the baby.
yeah, she had it early.
Yeah, she had it earlier. I don't know what I don't want to name his name. Your mom told the doctor cut it off.
Cut what off?
I didn't have to say it.
So
No,
you
she got
her
tubes tied. Tubes tied.
Yeah.
she want a tubes
That's why
tied.
my dad's upset.
You're more upset that her tubes are tied that day.
I got so mad. I got so mad. And I told her, he lied to the doctor, told him I'm the father.
Who lied to the doctor?
No. Your wife told him that for me to sign the paper. Is that why you don't like me?
Until today, I blame your mom.
Yeah. So you think like if she didn't have her tubes tied, you would have had more kids?
Maybe I have to couple more kids.
Because Shadia wasn't good enough, so you really wanted a real golden child. Right?
Maybe have another girl. You know.
Yeah, my mom was in her 40s when she had Shadia. She was 42.
No, 40. She was 40.
40. Oh, she was 40. Yeah,
40.
She was 40 when she had Shadia. So she was in her 40s, Dad. So it would be a high risk if she had a couple more kids. And so anyways,
so that's why we end up with 11. That's the story.
That's the story.
Wow,
that's the story. When we have Najib, there's a big, because her mom's, she didn't have any kids.
Yeah,
except her mom.
Except her mom. Yeah.
All the girls she had born, the boys, they died since they was. When we have Najib, we call overseas, and her Salha, her uncle, was living in Hagerstown, Ohio. I mean, Maryland.
In Hagerstown, Maryland. Yep.
Yeah. He came in and he invited all the Arabic people in Virginia for dinner because
Najib.
Yeah, because Najib, baby Najib.
Yeah, so baby Najib really was your first. We ate spaghetti. How do you know what you ate? You weren't there.
I'm just saying that's where they went. They probably went to the restaurant.
So to be honest with you,
he had a restaurant, Reef.
Yeah, to be honest with you, was Najib.
His name is Khali Saman.
Was Najib your favorite, or was Shadi your favorite? I mean, that's the question here.
Well, I'll tell you the truth. I like all my boys. I swear, for me God, I will never. They said Shadi your favorite.
Yeah, but you hear that? He said he likes all his boys.
I like all my boys. You think Marissa, when she gets sick or something, I go crazy. I like Marissa.
Dad, you said boys. You said you like all your boys. How about the girls?
So I mean, really, this you got a lot more to the story, and there's a lot of things that we
a lot of things out. I don't have to,
Yeah,
if you want to tell everything, I'll be sleeping here.
Yeah, well, we can bring those back, because obviously your story is important to all the stories. So none of us would have stories that we're going to talk about on this podcast if it wasn't for you and our mom, and our mom will probably never be on the podcast. Hopefully she will, but she doesn't like to be on these things. But we're going to try to get her on there. How long have you guys been married now?
63 years.
Wow. Mashallah.
63 years. Thanks God. You know, we lost Wally. That's hurt us very much because, Wally graduated from high school. We did, we usually at Jam'iyat al-Bira, make very dinner. People, the boys graduate from high school, went to Arlington. They did, and one day توفت حاجة حمدة اجته from overseas, and we decided, me and your mom, to go سلم عليها, and we were there. Somebody called us and said, "You better come home. Something went wrong." I asked, "What happened? What happened? What happened?" And they tell me I was in Muhannad and Salwa and all that. And I told him,
It's okay, Pops.
they told me, "Well, you have an accident." I asked him where they said, went to hospital. They drove me there, Muhannad. They drove my car, and somebody else drove his car and brought me to I went to the hospital, and that guy told me that he's dead. Uh,
That was a
it's
hard
very
time.
hard,
It was
very hard,
yeah.
very hard, man. It's very, very hard. I was crying, and I bust my car, and that night, almost 8, 9 people from people Bire,
Yeah.
they came to the house, and what are you gonna do?
Yes.
Uh,
It's hard. Things like that happen, and there's nothing you can fix at that point. That's probably one of the hardest times in our lives.
It's very, very he started working in
The food line.
Food Line. That day he should be off. They call him up. They need him.
And he was the type to go.
He took the car. I bought him a car. He drove the car and went to work. Coming back, he had the accident. Huh?
And that's one of the things we've been doing is telling people about Wally. And the last 3 episodes we talked a lot about Wally, and actually you'll have to upload the picture on our Facebook page. Jim found a couple of pictures of Wally, and one of the pictures was he went to King's Dominion, and you had the photo booth, and he dressed like he was going to be in Playboy magazine. And
Yeah.
Jim, you see that picture? And there was another picture of him and Jim and Debbie as well. So we'll have to upload those and things like that. But I just thought it was really important today. I mean, Jimmy was our guest. Our guest today. He came and we wanted him on here. Unfortunately, 2 of our brothers aren't feeling good today, so they couldn't be on with us. Brother Sophie is still in the hospital, but he's feeling better. He should probably be out in a week, and we'll talk a little bit about. But he has some colon stuff, and brother Todd today is not feeling well, just under the weather today. So they weren't on here to share, but inshallah, when they're back healthy, we'll get you back on here, because I want everybody to be on here when you're talking, because I just think it's important, because they might have questions for you. So,
well, that's a all the way a subject on Wally. No matter how he's been dead now for 37 years, I still remember him like
yeah,
he's right there in front of me.
Yeah, I know.
And Dad, he is right there in front of you. He's in spirit with you.
Did you hear the story that I told about Wally last week? I don't know if you listened to our podcast or not, but did you hear the story I was telling them?
No, what is it?
So I got a phone call. We were talking about Wally, and somebody called and said, and I'll tell you afterwards, who said this, but said, hey, I just want to tell you a story. And the story was that, her husband passed away, and they wanted to learn more about her husband passing away. They went to a fortune teller. You know what a fortune teller is? Somebody to tell you about the fortune, about life after death.
Yeah.
Like a psychic. And one of the things the psychic told them was that when your dad made it to the gates of heaven, his little cousin was waiting for him there. And his little cousin showed him around heaven. And they said, what was the cousin's name? And the lady said, Wally. So when everybody goes to heaven, Wally is at the gates of heaven waiting for us, and he's going to give us a tour of heaven. And that's the story. I'll tell you a little more about the story, but I didn't know if you had heard that story.
No, I never heard of it.
But
every time,
So, we got a few minutes left, and we got Jimmy here, aka Najeh, aka Pops. Does anybody want to ask him a question? I mean, I know Shadia. Yeah, Shadia, you go ahead. Of course. So, of course, Shadia wants to ask you a question.
Of course, Shadia wants to ask him a question.
I don't want to hear it.
It's actually about Melissa. Can we go back to Melissa? How did we all get Arabic names? We got, Palestinian Arabic names, Middle Eastern names, however you want to say it. But how did Melissa get Melissa?
Well, after she born, stay almost a week. We didn't know what the name her. I didn't have her, like, soon she got out of the hospital, I have her name. One day I'm sitting watching TV. I said, Melissa. I said, that's the name I'm going. I gave her that name, Melissa.
So he's talking about a soap opera. So you got Melissa's name from a American soap opera.
Yeah, I have your name ready before you born.
Okay.
That's why you're the golden child.
Because you're the golden child.
Dad, how'd you get my name? Where did my name come from?
I just remember Shadia, a good name. I said, she gonna be my favorite. I'm going with her.
Oh,
Shadia.
Okay.
Love you, Dad.
Yeah.
Dad,
So
I was just telling them about our last name, Abed and Abdul Jalil. I was explaining to him that when you were in Washington, you had a lot of influence from one of your first cousins, and you named me Abed, Abed. But when Faisal was born, you were more, you knew more about everything, and you started using the name Abdul Jalil. Do you remember that? The reason?
you remember why some of us are Abed, some of us Abdul Jalil, why on the birth certificate?
Well, I don't know. When I got my American citizen, they had to change the names. If you want to change your name from Najeh Abdul Jalil, Najeh, I said, you put down. I said, I'm not going to change it. I just put Najeh Jamil Abdul Jalil, same my
name.
Then I took Abed, a little bit easier from Abdul Jalil. Some kids, some of you Abed is انت عبد الجليل ولا
No,
Abed?
I'm Abed.
Abed. No, Abdul Jalil.
No, Abdul Jalil.
Like the hospital, someone, I said, Abed, you have to look. He said, no, Abdul Jalil.
Yeah, I think only.
That's what happened.
How many are Abdul Jalil? Faisal, Jamal,
Wally.
and Wally. So 3 Abdul Jalils and the rest Abed.
Abed.
So
Alhamdulillah, Abed Abdul Jalil. I hope
and
everything.
so
So sorry. Just one more question. That didn't you work with Khalid Abdullah in the Safeway restaurant in Arlington?
do you remember working with in the Safeway restaurant in Arlington?
I mean, in DC. I'm sorry, in DC.
In DC.
With Ami Awadola.
Ami Awadola in the Safeway restaurant in DC. You remember that?
I think I remember. I was working in a restaurant
I found that ticket. But
when they.
Yeah. So that was a long time ago. I mean, you had a lot. Go ahead, Jamal.
Yeah, so Rick, I think he was working with. I seen some pictures before. I think he was working there. I seen some pictures with Abu Naeem. They were both dishwashers there at that restaurant.
No, can I just? I'm so sorry because I mean for Abu Naeem, and I know we're not going to cut this out, but Abu Naeem came in afterwards when we owned the Barrister. So because I used to have, when he first came to the United States, I would have to go to his apartment and wake him up. He would live by the restaurant, by the Barrister. Because like when did Abu Naeem came? When did he come?
Abu Naeem. You remember what year he came to the United States?
Abu Naeem.
Yeah, you helped him come.
I did the paper.
Yeah, you helped him come to the United States.
Because I had the Barrister restaurant.
Yeah, you had Barrister at the time.
Barrister, me and McFauzi. We had the Barrister restaurant. And he was so close to my father. I had my father. They used to work together and stuff like that. I make a paper that I need help. I need him to do so. Work out.
Yeah, he came here. Yeah, he was a great guy. His family's amazing, and you bring them here. So
yeah.
And I just want to ask you one more question. I'm so sorry I'm taking this, but do you remember working at the drugstore in Boston and a guy named Bill that used to be your friend?
Do you remember working in a drugstore and having a guy named Bill, and Bill was your friend? Do you remember Bill?
Well, I can't remember that.
He doesn't remember Bill.
Mom remembers it very well. So
I don't remember. I
Do you
can't
remember?
remember.
Do you remember when you had to go to the hospital for Melissa? You called the school, and I had to take the Metro bus to go cook at Tremont.
You remember when Melissa, you had to go to the hospital because of Melissa. You called the school so Faisal can get out of school early so he can go to the restaurant and work so you can go to the hospital.
Well, you remember, maybe.
Yeah. I mean, it's hard. It was hard at that time to even you wouldn't think about closing anything because even when we had the store, we never closed, right? Like you open every holiday.
Yeah.
When you have a restaurant, you have the customers depend on you to come.
Yeah.
When I have a 3 month, most people used to come and put in
front of the store and the restaurant.
Inside the restaurant.
The bar.
They drink beer.
Yeah, they used to come and
that's where I just make my money.
Yeah.
They ask for pizza, they ask for some sandwich or something like that.
We'll have to find those pictures because I remember there's a picture of you standing there in your apron at the restaurant and doing that. Hey, Melissa, real fast. I mean, obviously, you had a near life experience that you may have not known about when you were born. And
I had two. I had that one and the one where you tried to kill me when you put the house on fire too.
Okay. Two near life experiences. How did it feel? You're the firstborn daughter after 8 boys, and then obviously, you're number 9 in the lineup. That the golden child is Shadya.
I mean, it was good growing up. I mean, I enjoyed having brothers. I remember, growing up with Sam, you, Joe. I mean, because we were all kind of, close in age and stuff like that. And then Sophie, I remember Sophie, and then Shaddy came along and things changed. So
were you jealous when Shaddy was born? Did you want to beat her up as a baby or what?
No, I don't ever remember when she was younger, like when she got a little older and we were like teenagers, she never wanted to help me in the house. And I got stuck cleaning everything and doing everything while she got to sleep. But,
I don't think all that's true because I remember vacuuming and cleaning and doing all that good stuff.
Oh,
yeah,
really,
that wasn't the toys you had. It wasn't the real vacuum.
No.
Yeah.
She used to go tell my dad that I would yell at her about it, and I got in trouble for it.
Sam, did you want to say something?
Yeah. So first off, Pops, thank you for coming on today. And I know that our father said a few Arabic words that some of our listeners might not know. So I'll go over those real quick. One of the words that he said many times is hamdulillah, right? So in hamdulillah in English, that means praise to God. Okay. Another one that he says, inshallah, that means God willing, right? Then another one that he said was Allah irham. And what that means is may God have mercy upon his or her soul. So I just for the listeners, so they know, because he mentioned that. And then Pops, one thing that I want to say to you is none of us would be half the person that we are if it wasn't for you and our mom.
Yeah.
So we appreciate everything that you did for us growing up, showing us the way, and us becoming who we are today. And we owe it all to you and our mom. So we just want to say thank you.
Sam, what I just real fast, because I know we had a great growing up, but Pops has changed over the years. As we all got out of the house, and there's only Shadya left in the house. And one day I walked in the house and I asked Pops, I said, are you going to let her leave the house like that? And he looked at me, he says, it's a free country. And I just remember it wasn't a free country when we grew up. So, obviously he's evolved as well over the years because, and the different things like that. And he's still evolving and still making an impact. Oh, you don't remember that, Shadya?
Well, yeah, I want to step in here because you guys are making it like, first off, I might have left with some makeup on, and that was what you're talking about, but I never wore shorts, never wore skirts, never wore cut off shorts, like cut off sleeves. My dad was very, and I grew up like that, and I'm still like that, and now my daughter's like that. So I'm not quite sure you're making it sound like I left in like some hooker shorts or something.
No, he was talking about the makeup. Shad, he was talking about the makeup because he wouldn't allow Melissa to wear makeup, but he allowed you to wear makeup. Okay,
he allowed you to go to prom.
I thought he was talking about the cleanness of the house, like he would walk in and the house wasn't clean because I wasn't there no more.
I clean, Melissa. When you left, who do you think was cleaning all the time?
After I left there, all the other years, you never helped me clean though.
I do want to say one thing though.
Remember, Siti raised y'all, Siti Yamne, Hama. She was there and she helped raise you all. If it wasn't for her, we wouldn't be what we are today either.
Yeah, she was a big part. She was a big part of our lives growing up, and we'll definitely have to talk a little more about Sidi Amna as well as Sidi Kaufman. Jim, what did you have to say? We're running out. We got about a minute left.
Real fast. I just want to talk about work ethics. My dad was so sick one day. I remember. I was just a kid in middle school. And I came, it was snow, and he was so sick. He had the flu. He was coughing. He was just not feeling good. And I said, Dad, why don't you just forget about going? It's snowing outside. It's really bad. And I said, why don't you just forget about going? He goes, nope, I have to open the store up. I didn't care what. And so me and him drove to the restaurant that day. And I promise you, we had to shovel the snow outside. We opened the door, and we had customers come in, but the work ethics that we inherited was from my dad, of course, my mom too, because she did everything in the world to try to take care of us. I just do want to say that his dedication wasn't just to his family, wasn't just to it was also to the people that he knew that depended on him.
Well, I just want to thank everybody to be on here today, and thank you, Pops, for being with us today.
Well, you're welcome.
Will you come
breakfast?
Oh, I know you get a chance to eat.
Breakfast.
I know. We'll warm it up for you. You'll be a guest again on the show if we have you back.
Thank you.
You come back? You want to come back?
For me?
Yeah, you come back to our show.
That's
it. You're not gonna come back no more.
Oh, you can have it.
All right, guys.
All right.
Thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Our heartfelt gratitude for joining our journey, immersing yourself in our tales, and becoming a part of our family. Stay connected with us by following at Abed11 on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, and Spotify. Keep the adventure alive with the Abed11 Chronicles, where 10 voices unite to share a lifetime of stories. We are looking forward to seeing you next week.